Welcome everyone for today's video. Today I wanted to show it to you a game which is played between Xiangyu Xu versus Magnus Carlsen, and this game is played in WhiteTeam Rapid in 2026 in Hong Kong. So Magnus Carlsen was playing with the black pieces and his opponent started with a move pawn to d4, there is knight to f6, pawn to c4, there is g6, and after the move knight to c7, Magnus Carlsen replied with a move bishop to g7. So now we are in the King's Indian. e4, there is d6, bishop to e2, long short castle, bishop to e3, pawn to a5. Now over here the top move, if you just see, it's that you can play the move knight c3, knight c6, or maybe pawn to b5 as well. But okay, a5 is also making sense. The idea over here is now the white cannot play immediately b4, as well as when the knight will go from the d7 or from the a6 to the c5, somewhere this a pawn move stopping the b4 and attacking on the knight. Pawn to g4. This move is slightly inaccuracy, I will say. Over here the move makes sense. It's simple, knight to f3 with and the knight to g4 attacking on a bishop, bishop to g5, pawn to h6 attacking on a bishop, bishop to h4, and knight to f6 makes more logical continuation. But okay, g4, and then Magnus Carlsen, he played the move pawn to a4, just gaining a more space into the queen side. Now of course the white coming towards the king side with a move g4, so there is a huge possibility that white will castle on the queen side. So that's why he already is preparing for the queen side attack. Pawn to g5, knight f to d7, queen to d2, pawn to c5, knight to f3, queen a5, long castle. As we thought about it, that of course white will castle for the long, because he already played g5, g4 as well as in the King's Indian defense. Black is the one who go for the king side attack. So always the black will have an upper hand in the king side if your structure is like this one, the all of the pawns there on the line. Yeah, if there is g3 and bishop to g2, that is a different fact. Knight to c6, knight to d5, pawn to e6 attacking on the knight, queen takes a5, rook takes a5, and knight moves back. Now over here also you will see that if you see the rating difference between two of the players, that around of 200 points rating difference is there. And the second point, Magnus Carlsen, he knows that he is good in endgame. So you will see that after the queen exchange, he is moving towards the endgame. And Magnus Carlsen is like, thank you so much for exchanging the queens. I'm happy with it. Pawn takes, knight takes, knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, bishop takes d4, rook takes d4, and rook takes g5. So you can see that he got a pawn. Like, of course this position is not completely winning, or like black has an edge because of he has an extra pawn, but okay. King to d2, and over here he made an error with the move knight to c5. Now it looks logical, but over here black should try, that is a move pawn to f5. The idea behind this move is, example, if the rook takes d6, now knight to c5, e5, and it can go for the move pawn to f5. But okay, d2, c5, and here the best move is what you will think. It's not a best. Like here what white should play, it's a move h4. And maybe Magnus also knows that maybe your opponent will think that it's an obvious move, so I can just play it. And he made an error by playing the move rook takes d6, which looks obvious, but actually it's not an obvious move. Like he has to play the move pawn to h4. And now see the black's move, pawn to f5, E takes f5, rook g takes f5. So both of the rooks, as you can see, is creating an attack on the f2. f3 just defended. Bishop to d7. Of course, the bishop he wants to bring towards here. And you can see how lovely the bishop is just protecting this as well as this. And when the bishop will go to c6, this knight is protecting the a6. So somewhere or the other, like black's position, if you see, it's very harmonious is played. Rooks are on the file. That is also the point. Knight to e4. Bishop to c6. Knight takes e5. Rook takes e5. Rook takes e6. Bishop takes f3. Bishop takes f3. Rook takes f3. Rook to b6. Rook takes c4. Rook takes b7. Rook to h4. Now you're just creating a pressure on this one. King to e2. Rook f to h3. Rook c1. There is a mating thread. But okay. Rook to f4. Rook h1. Pawn to g5. b3. g4. b takes. Rook takes. Rook to b2, defending the a2 pawn. Rook to f3. King to d1. King to g7. Rook to e1. Rook to a6. Rook to e5. King to g6. Rook b to e2. Now definitely just going for the check. But here, after the move rook f1, black made the blunder by playing the move king to d2. Over here, rook move back is the best move. King to d2. Now you can pause the video and find out the best continuation from here. Here, black is winning now. Is rook takes a2 check. King moves to d3. And here, Magnus played the move rook a3 check. But of course, rook to f3 is much stronger move. But it's check. King move to c4. h5. Rook to e8 and rook to f4 check. King to c5. King to g5. Rook h8, just keeping an eye on this pawn. King to h4. King to d6. Rook a to f3. Rook to h7 and simple rook f2. Now of course this pawn will be no longer protective and he will just play the game. And over here, for example, just imagine this one, so then it will be this check. And somewhere on the other, like if this rook moves, like after move rook exchange, it will just capture on a h2 and black has two pass pawns. And if it will go here, so after the take, then definitely the rook has to take it, and there is the rook takes this one, and black once again has two passes. That's it for today, and thank you so much for joining.